Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mike and Andrew show. I'm Andrew Srowick here with Mike Meredith and our good friend Ian. Hi, Ian. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey guys. Like Andrew said, I'm Ian High. I'm also a resident of the Detroit area. Yeah, mainly a Detroit homer. But yeah, side note, go Sharks. So
Go Sharks, man.
outside of them, yeah, it's pretty much all
Poverty.
strictly Detroit. So,
Po-
man,
Poverty
at
fucking
least
franchise.
we're
All right.
not the Leafs.
Okay, well, the Leafs are poverty in the playoffs. They're good in the regular season, but that's besides the point. And then, Mike, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be back here for episode number 3. It's gonna be a good one.
Yes, sir. So let's get right into it, man. We got the NFL Week 2. Obviously, on Tuesday's episode, we covered tonight's game between Minnesota and Philly. Um, yeah, so this week, Lions are taking on Seattle, favored by now 4.5. The line opened up at 6 this week. 4.5. Lions at home opener. CJ Gardner Johnson with the whole ski mask thing. I wonder just how many ski masks we're gonna see at Ford Field this weekend. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, considering what I've seen on like at the internet and whatnot, that Amazon sold out of ski masks a couple times. It's kind of impressive seeing that. And then the blue ski masks specifically were being priced at higher amounts than the other ski masks.
Yeah, no, I'm like, this could cause some problems because like Detroit already has kind of a bit of a reputation, and I just hope people don't fucking ruin it with the ski masks and end up fucking doing stupid shit and just making Detroit look worse than it already is. I'm just, but I got the Lions in this one still. Seahawks didn't look good last week at all. Didn't score a single point against the dog shit Rams. So yeah, I got the Lions in this one. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
gonna go with the Lions as well. Man, I think this is gonna be the game where the Lions just blow the doors off of Seattle, have a big statement win after the big win over Kansas City. I think it's gonna be a blowout.
Yeah, no, I think the Lions want revenge for last year. That's for sure.
yeah, I would agree on that one. The revenge for last year for kicking them out the playoffs, but I don't know if I see a blowout. I don't know if I see a shootout like last year either. But I think I like that 4.5. Maybe a full score by the end of the game. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say up to Detroit by 7.
yeah, no, I think Detroit just blows the doors off Seattle. They did not look good at all, and it's interesting that the line has moved down to 4.5 when it opened at 6. But I think that's just Vegas trying to cut their losses if they can. Uh, let's see, we got the Raiders and the Bills on Sunday afternoon as well. Buffalo favored by 8.5. I'm gonna take the Raiders though. They didn't look too bad this past weekend. I mean, yes, they looked bad, but they didn't look like horrible. And I've lost all fucking faith in Josh Allen. He is boo boo garbage.
Man, the Bills, their Super Bowl window is like about damn near closed. They just lost to freaking Zach Wilson.
Close, motherfucker. They are fucking. They're done. They're done. They're done. They're not winning the division. Sorry, but they're not.
Yeah, Josh Allen throwing what was it, 3 picks to what was James Whitehead? Yeah, that's not a good look. And then yeah, losing to Josh Allen, not losing to Josh Allen, losing to Zach Wilson, not a good look again. And then losing from what was it, a walk-off punt return? Not a good look. And OT no less.
Well, and that's the thing too about Josh, those 3 picks. They were stupid picks you would expect like a rookie quarterback to make, not someone who's been in the league for as long as he has, someone who was touted as being almost as good as Mahomes. You can't be making throws like that. That was just so bad. I don't know. He's just fucking horrible. He's so bad.
Yeah, for sure. That's the type of throw that you expect the guy on the other side to be making, you know?
Right. You would expect Zach Wilson to be throwing 3 picks, not fucking Josh Allen, but he's done for, man. He is done. I'm taking the Raiders. I don't think they cover, but I'm taking the Raiders in this game because there's just no way. The Bills are so bad right now.
I don't know if the Bills, blow them out. If I'd say it's a toss up. I could see it going either way. But at the end of the day, I think it'd be Bills by a field goal.
Yeah, I would probably I could see the Bills winning it. Obviously, the Raiders are pretty bad, but you lose to Zach Wilson, I don't have any faith in you.
It's not a good look at all.
Right. Let's see. We got the Bengals and the Ravens. Since he's favored by only 3 in that one, obviously coming off a tough loss to the Browns in Week 1, and the Ravens with the coming off a win. So I think this is going to be a very close game. I think since he's going to win, I think they cover as well. But only time will tell with that one. The Bengals just did not look good at all in Week 1.
Yeah, the Bengals, man, they got to bounce back after that tough week 1. Like, Joe Burrow has got to come out and play. And this is what happened last year to them, too. They started out horrible the first couple games, and then they finally got going. They just need to start getting going right now because that was just a horrible week 1 game for them.
Yeah, that's definitely some facts right there. I mean, yeah, you could say, oh, it was the weather. Joe Burrow, you just became the highest paid player in the NFL. Like, I don't give a fuck what weather you're playing in. You better ball out, day in, day out.
Right. And,
3 points ain't it, Chief?
right. I look, the Bengals they have to bounce back after that. They can't be that bad, right? Like
I just say we'll definitely see against this Ravens defense that I would argue they're better than the Browns.
I would
So
too,
we'll
but
see.
we'll just have to see. The Chiefs taking on the Jags, favored by 3.5. The Jags coming off a tough win against Indianapolis of all teams, so I don't think the Jags are really that good. Just because that was an ugly win. It was a win, but they were playing pretty close with Indianapolis for most of that game, and you can't be doing that with a team that's that bad.
Yeah, that was a game I was watching pretty closely because I was kind of interested in watching Anthony Richardson and whatnot, but he kind of surprised me. I think he did halfway decent. Not bad for a rookie quarterback. 24 of 37 with a touchdown and a pick for 223 yards. And, a Jags team which went to the playoffs last year, and thought they had a better team than they made it to be out to. But I don't think they're as good as people hype them up to be. Trevor Lawrence, pretty damn good. The rest of the team, they're falling in there. Calvin Ridley had a great game. Zay Jones had a hell of a fucking catch that game. So they have the team. It's just, can they keep that, performance up? If they keep having these close games, can they get out of them?
Yeah, absolutely. I still think Chiefs win this. They more than cover though by that 3.5. I think that 3.5 is a little misleading just because of the loss against the Lions. But Chris Jones is back. He signed I think on Monday this week actually. So that kind of sucks for the rest of the teams in the Lions division. So it is what it is. You just hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Oh, boo-hoo, no.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, man, I think the Chiefs do bounce back in this game and cover that spread of 3.5. I do think, though, the Jaguars will keep it within at least a score, but I think it's probably going to be like a touchdown win. I see them winning by like 7. I think Chris Jones coming back will help them out. Him being out the first week was definitely tough, and Mahomes, man, the Chiefs can't go down 0-2, man, to start the year. Defending Super Bowl champions, can't do it.
No, absolutely, they can't do it. So we go to the Chargers and the Titans. LA favored by only 3 in that one. I am taking LA in this game. The Chargers were disappointing is an understatement for last week, but they did the Chargers thing and lost a game they should have won. Uh, I'm still taking the Chargers in this one. The Titans are dog shit. They're just
Dog,
dog shit.
dog, dog shit versus dog shit, man.
I was
I
gonna
have
say
lost
this
all
was one
faith
of
in
the
the Chargers.
mid-offs. Yeah, I was gonna say, Mike, what was your opinion on this one? I know you kind of like the Chargers, but
Yeah, man. So I have been a Chargers fan for a while, ever since they've had like Philip Rivers on the team, and man, they just disappoint, man. Every single year, talk about a team that just disappoints. I mean, look at last year in the playoffs, up like what 27-0 on Jacksonville and lose the game. Then against Miami, they had that win. I hate Brandon Staley. I think he's like one of the worst coaches in the NFL. He should have been fired like 2 years ago.
I heard a comparison. Brandon Staley is the Scott Frost of the NFL.
Yeah, he's
that's not a
horrible.
good comparison at all. Holy shit!
That is a great comparison. I don't know what you're talking about. They both find ways to lose games as coaches.
No, I know, but you don't want to be compared to Scott Frost, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, no, you don't want that comparison, but that is
It's perfectly fitting. Yeah,
exactly.
Even as a Lions fan, insert any Detroit head coach since the '50s, pretty much. So,
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man.
yeah, wherever you are, Bobby Lane, go fuck yourself.
Shit. Anyways, we got the Packers and the Falcons. Atlanta's actually favored by 1.5 in that one. Did Vegas see Atlanta play football this week because they don't have a quarterback? There's a point in the game where Desmond Ridder was 4 for 4 with 0 yards. I don't know how you do that in the NFL, but congrats. He was 2 for 2 for minus 12 yards, by the way, before that. But no, I think the Packers are winning this game, and I think they blow the doors off the Falcons. I underestimated the Packers early on this year, and towards like the end of the preseason, I was like, I don't know, they might be pretty good. I think Jordan Love might be that guy, and I really fucking hoped that wasn't true, but it's looking like it's gonna be true. And again, the Falcons are horseshit, and the Packers look pretty good, and I think Jordan Love is that guy.
Yeah, man, the Packers looked so dominant against the Bears. Like, I know the Bears' defense isn't much, but just even the performance they gave was great. Jordan Love had a great game. The only way the Falcons have any chance of even keeping this game close is if Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier run for like 200 yards. That's like the only way they're going to get any offense. But I agree with you, man. The Packers are going to blow out the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm in the same boat as holy shit, Jordan Love. Didn't see that coming. I was
Nah.
like, yeah, it's granted it is the Bears. Take it
Yeah,
with
it's-
a grain of salt, but
Exactly.
he's still, his first start, post Rodgers era, we know he is, QB1. Hanging 38 in that situation, you're the first time you are QB1, your whole career, and there's everyone else is under you. You got to give him his credit, even as someone who's a fan of a team in the division, I don't like to say it, it's like when Aaron Rodgers was in this division the whole time, he is a great quarterback, but at the end of the day, you kind of like to shit talk him because, it's a division rival.
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, yeah, I think it's the Pack's in a route in this one.
Yeah, no,
It's at least 14.
I think probably around like 10 to 14 is where we'll see the Packers beating the Falcons there. I don't see how Atlanta's favored in this game when the Packers looked really good. Desmond Ridder is one of the worst quarterbacks in football right now. There's no way the Packers are losing this game. I think Jordan Love is a lot better than anyone thinks. He's a lot better than I think too. But yeah, divisional game here: Colts and Texans. Houston's only favored by one. Tells you just how bad both of these teams really are. If you don't have a spread, or really, it tells you how good two teams are, how bad two teams are, and we know both of these teams are garbage. Two rookie quarterbacks going against each other too, which will be kind of interesting to see. They play each other twice, obviously, this year, being the same division. I am going to take Houston in this one. I am not an Anthony Richardson fan. I don't believe in him. I think he's going to be a bust. He didn't play like one in week one, but I think he still will be. But CJ Stroud is just that dude. He gave me nightmares at Ohio State as a Michigan fan. But yeah, I'm taking the Texans and the points on this one.
I actually think I'm going to disagree with you on this. I really don't think, though, it's going to be. I wouldn't be shocked if Houston won this game, but I will go with the Colts just because I feel like they are the better of the teams. I mean, they are both dog shit teams. I'm a little bit higher, I think, than you on Anthony Richardson. I think he'll be at least somewhat competent. They do have a lot of drama, though, in that locker room with the whole Jonathan Taylor situation. But, man, I can't, man. Houston's been so bad at just doing anything the last few years. I have a hard time picking them for winning anything.
Yeah, well, they're two of the most poorly ran teams in the league right now. I think.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, the Texans, we already know their ownership is a literal joke. And then the Colts in their owner situation, but yeah, no, I think Stroud is just that dude. Someone's got to have to win. They're both 0-1 right now. I think the Texans still win. Ian, what do you think here?
Uh, I think I'm going with Mike here on this one. I think I got the Colts. They squeaked by on like something. I don't know. It might be a shootout because just how buns both teams are. But like, I don't know. I was an MSU fan, so C.J. Stroud, lives in my nightmares as well. But I don't know. He's an Ohio State quarterback, and we all know the history of Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL.
No, I agree. Like OSU quarterbacks don't usually pan out, but C.J. Stroud is that dude, man. I think
he might be the one to do it.
I think
will
he'll
give
break
him
that
credit.
trend. I think he'll break that trend of Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL because the dude is that guy. He sees everything so well in the game. But moving on, Bears and Bucks. Bucks only favored by 2.5. I'm taking Tampa Bay, and they more than cover on this. The Bears are just so bad. Justin Fields is.
Yeah, this is a mid-off of the century if I've ever seen one. Like, one of the worst games of the early slate that Sunday. But yeah, I mean, I think I would do take Baker and the Bucks by at least 3 because that Bears defense is atrocious.
A fucking just abysmal, man.
Like we all know the Lions were bad last year. Like
This is
30th
worse.
in the league. The Bears were like 32nd in the league in like damn near every category. So it's somehow, if you can imagine that, worse.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, man. Chicago is just absolutely trash. I think that they're not going to do that good this year. I thought early on this year that maybe Justin Fields would break out, but that first game did not look impressive at all. We'll have to see, but I think the Bears just that defense is just so bad, man. I think they're going to lose this game.
Here's the thing. Fields, he's an incredible athlete. Like, he's probably one of the most, if not the most athletic player in the league, I think. But it's just like, dude, it's like their head coach doesn't coach him. They just say, do your thing. Just do the thing to make us win, and it's not working because Fields needs some sort of structure, and it's just like it's not working in Chicago. I wonder if they had a legitimate coach in Chicago, he'd probably play a lot better, I think. But we'll never know because I doubt Chicago ever hires anyone competent as a coach. Anyways, moving on. The a team that got absolutely blown out of their assholes by Dallas. The Giants are taking on the Cardinals. The Giants are favored by 4. Um, I know Mike, you touched on this in the first episode. The Cardinals aren't favored in any game this year, uh,
Yeah.
and I think the Giants will bounce back after this. Oh, and speaking of the Giants, so you know how they got blown out by Dallas, right? Kadarius Toney was released by the Giants this or was traded or whatever the fuck,
Shit talking all the fans.
and he was shit talking after that game, and it was just like, dude, you literally cost your entire team the win this week. What are you talking about? What the fuck? You have zero room to talk.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? But yeah, I'm taking the Giants in this one. I don't think it's 4. I think they win by like 2 points, but we'll see.
Yeah, man, this is like the perfect game for the Giants because they just got blown out so bad, embarrassed, and they get the easiest team in the NFL. So I do think the Giants will win. The Cardinals are just so bad. Like we said too earlier, like not favored in any game, and they're like, it feels like purposely trying to tank, man. They need so much help on the entire team.
Yeah, I don't see Arizona really being deserving of being favored in any games as of right now. You know, they're giving me real 2016. No, not 2016. Whenever the Lions went 0-16, you know. That's what I'm getting right now.
2008. Yeah.
2008.
Yeah, no, I'm getting that same vibe.
To think about that, yeah, that's why I don't even have the year memorized.
No,
That's how
I think
little I gave a fuck
2016 was the Browns, right?
yeah,
The Browns.
that was the
It
Browns.
was either
Yeah.
16 or 17. Yeah, it was one of those years.
But
But yeah,
Look, it's
that's the Cardinals right now to me. Is they're on 0-17 watch for me right now. They might be the first team to go 0-17, and I would be excited for them because to me, that's an achievement. It's an achievement for a fucking NFL team. You are paid to be a professional athlete, and you go winless.
look,
17
look.
games. You played the smallest season, and you don't win the game.
Look, it's incredibly hard to go 0-17. I think the Cardinals win at least one game this year, but it ain't gonna be this one. That's for sure. We're gonna move through the next few games quickly, just so we can save some time for other things. You got the Rams and 49ers. San Francisco favored by 7.5. I'm taking the Niners and the points on this one. The Rams looked good. I don't think they're that good of a team. I think Seattle's just that bad. And the Niners obviously just looked really good. But Brock Purdy still is not that guy, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm also going Niners and taking the points because, yeah, that defense looked the part in Pittsburgh, so they're playing good.
Yeah, man, the Niners look like one of the best teams in football, if not the best team. I hear that you're not a big Brock Purdy guy. I think that Brock Purdy's at least competent enough to take the team that he has. You know, they're just so talented throughout. I definitely want to go with the 49ers.
No, I agree. I think Brock Purdy can take them to the playoffs. I don't think he can take them past the first round, though. He's not that dude. Let's see, Cowboys and the Jets. Dallas favored by 9 in that one. I'm taking the Cowboys and the points again. Zach Wilson is a bum. The Jets are a bum without Aaron Rodgers, and Dallas looked really good. They're going to do the Dallas thing and go do really well in this season, and then, be the Toronto of the NFL and just first round exit.
Yeah, 100% Dallas with the points. No Aaron Rodgers. But that defense for the Jets, though, I will say, one of the top in the league. Led by a Detroit product.
Yeah, no,
Sauce Gardner.
I think the Jets defense is probably one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league. But yeah, no, I'm still taking the Cowboys and the points in this one. There's just their offense is too good, and Zach Wilson. You have to add the Zach Wilson tax in there. Let's see. Commanders and Broncos. Denver favored by only 3.5 in this one. I think the Commanders are going to take the upset win here. Russ is garbage, and yeah, no, the Broncos are going to be really bad this year. I think that they can't do what they did this past week.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the watch to see how long it takes for Russell Wilson to have more touchdown passes than bathrooms in his house again. 'Cause, yeah, I'm also taking the Commanders on this one. I don't think the Broncos are gonna be able to do it.
Man, I wanted the Broncos to be better this year because I thought Sean Payton would, at least elevate them a little bit, but they still look so bad. They lost to the Raiders and just the Commanders aren't really that great either, but I will take the Commanders as well.
I thought Sean Payton, he's an excellent play caller. I think the big problem in Denver is just Russell Wilson sucks. He's
For us,
he's
washed.
he's so washed up, man. Miami and New England. Miami favored by 3. I think Miami wins this one. New England doesn't look good, and we just still keep knowing more and more that it was Tom Brady and not Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna go Miami too.
yeah, I'm also going with Miami. Yeah, Tua's not in concussion protocol, so yeah, they're gonna keep going.
Yup. And then Monday, we have 2 Monday night games, which is a thing the NFL is doing this year, apparently. Uh, we have bad versus bad divisional games, Saints and Panthers. New Orleans favored by 3 on that one. I'm going to take the Panthers, though. I think Bryce Young, he looked pretty good despite the loss to Atlanta. He's going to settle in more. They have competent ownership and a competent GM in Carolina, so I think they'll be on their way back up soon. But yeah, I'm taking the Panthers in this one actually.
I think that this game is close between the Panthers and the Saints. I feel like though I'm gonna lean a little bit towards the Saints. I'm pretty sure they got the home field in this game. I trust Derek Carr a little bit more. Bryce Young is still figuring it out, but definitely by the end of the year, I think Bryce Young will have figured out, what to kind of do. This being his rookie year, we'll see. I definitely think though it could go either way, but I will lean more towards the Saints in this game.
The Saints are on the road. This is a home game for the Panthers. So
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, that is in Carolina.
and then lastly, the 8:15 game. Oh wait, Ian, who are you taking in this first game?
Yeah, for the first game and on the what I'm gonna call mid-off Monday, because yeah, both these games just absolutely abysmal scheduling anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Panthers here. So I think Bryce Young gets his first win in this one.
And then lastly, the 8:15 game, the Browns and the Steelers. Cleveland favored by 2.5. I'm surprised they're not favored by more. The Browns looked pretty good, and the Steelers looked. They looked like the Steelers. Enough said about that. I'm taking the Browns and the points on this one as well.
Yeah, take the Browns and the money and run on this one. That's the only time you're ever gonna hear me say that.
Steelers are finally going to get under 500 this year for sure, man. They just Kenny Pickett, man. I don't trust Kenny Pickett, man, and I think that the Browns handle this one clear as day.
Yeah, his last name is self-explanatory. Pickett.
Yep. So we're gonna get into some week 1 power rankings real quick here. Let me pull these up. All right, so we're just going to go into the top 16 teams, and we'll just go from there. And you tell me if they're too high, too low, or what. Number 16, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they are right where they deserve, right where they should be, right in the middle, because they're the most mid team in the league.
I don't know. I think 16's giving them too much credit.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think they should be lower.
What? They scored 7 points. I just want to double check that. Yeah, 30-7. I mean, granted, they did play the 49ers, but 7 points.
No, you have to give them the tax because they played the 49ers. You have to give them a little bit of a boost because they played the 49ers, and they also have the Kenny Pickett tax, the Kenny Pickett tax as well. That's a thing.
He did throw 2 picks in that one. So Yeah.
All right, number 15, New Orleans Saints. I think they're also right where they should be. They obviously had the win, but yeah, they kind of look like dog shit.
Yeah, I think the Saints. That's like a pretty solid placement. They're like, to me, yeah, like right in the middle between that like 14 to 18 range is where the Saints should be.
Yeah, I was gonna say they should either be like between like 17 to 15.
Yeah. Number 14 here, Green Bay Packers. They might be a little too low for me on this one. I think, like I said earlier, Jordan Love might just be that dude, which I really really hope not as a Lions fan. I think we all agree on that one. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think the Packers should be about 12 or 11 here. I think they're a little too low in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say I would borderline 10 on that, but yeah, I definitely agree they're too low, which is again feels weird for me to say as a Lions fan. But yeah, give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, I think the Packers are too low as well. I don't know if I put them top 10 yet, but like you guys said, like 10 or like 11, 12 range.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 13, the Cincinnati Bengals went 3 in the preseason ranking, and they're now 13th. They dropped 10 spots. I would agree. I think they'll bounce back. Joe Burrow is obviously a really solid quarterback. He didn't play well, but I think they'll bounce back. But I think this is probably a good spot to have them.
Yeah, even with the loss, like I get 3 points not the best, but still I we know what the Cincy team is. Yeah.
Man, I get that Cincy was absolutely awful for this first week, but man, I can't believe they dropped them that far. I mean, Cincy's for sure a top 10 team in the league. Um, I think that they're definitely too low on these power rankings, but I understand the reason why they were dropped because they just played so bad.
And then moving up one spot from the preseason rankings, the New York Jets. Obviously, a good big upset win against the Bills. I think, yeah, this is probably a good spot for them as well. It's just they're they they probably would have been a lot better had Aaron Rodgers played the entire game and not get injured. I think this is a good spot for them given how the team played after that. But yeah, this is probably a good spot for them. I think.
Yeah, I think the Jets, if Aaron Rodgers was still playing for them, I think they would have given him a top 10 spot on the list. But where they're at right now, I feel like that's fine for them.
Yeah, 12 is a decent spot, I would say. I agree. If Aaron Rodgers did play, they would probably may have won that game even out of overtime and probably even more than a score, but only time could tell now, but yeah, 12 is a good spot.
Yeah. Cleveland Browns. They were ranked 18. Now they're 11. That defense held Joe Burrow to 82 yards. I don't think Joe Burrow's that bad, but the Cleveland defense looked really, really solid. I'd honestly put them up into about the 8-9 range. I think they're a little too low for me, but you can make the argument.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that. Oh, you can go ahead.
yeah, I can definitely see the argument for putting them up or leaving them where they are. But yeah, like you said, Joe Burrow, 82 yards, 14 of 31. That is just abysmal. And looking at the rushing, you had Joe Mixon 13 for 56. Chris Evans was second with 2 for 12. Your top rusher had 13 carries, 56 yards, 4.3 average. It's not a good look.
Yeah, I think the Browns, 11. Honestly, I feel like that's fine. I do think that they probably should be in the top 10, but they're just right outside. They win this week again, they'll be in the top 10 for sure for next week.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna start giving you these in groups of two, just so we can speed things up a little bit. Number 10, the Chargers. they fell only one spot, and the Buffalo Bills were ranked 5. Now they're number 9. I think the Bills definitely should be even lower than this, and the Chargers also shouldn't be in the top 10 either. They're both just bad teams.
Yeah, I would argue the Chargers might even be borderline top 15, and the Bills would be like 13-ish, 14. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I would put the Browns and Cincy over the Chargers right now. That teams that we had mentioned earlier. Um, Chargers, yeah, should be like around like the 15 range. The Bills, I feel like they're kind of all right around the 10 to 12 range. Definitely a little bit more higher on them than the Chargers, but they have also just fallen back from what they were in previous years.
Yeah, absolutely. 8, 7, and 8. You have Jacksonville at number 8. They went up 3 spots, and Detroit went up 3 spots as well to fall to number 7. I think both are pretty good where they're at. You could argue Detroit a little bit higher just because they did beat the defending Super Bowl champs. Jacksonville, yeah, they looked pretty good, but they need to look a lot better than keeping it pretty close with Indianapolis for most of an entire game.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm in the same boat. I could see an argument for putting Detroit up, but because of the history and whatnot, and we truly don't know what this team can do.
Not until JMO shows up. We don't know what this team could do until JMO
Right.
shows up. And that's a question of if he even shows up.
Yeah, who knows what he put down on the Lions to beat the Chiefs.
Oh, dog. Can't be doing that, bro.
Might have tripled his contract, man.
I'm dead, bro. I'm dead.
Yeah.
What you got, Mike?
I think that the Lions are fine here at number 7. I love to see them in the top 5, but it's just one game, so can't go a little too crazy with it. I would say if they put them like top 3, it'd be a little bit of an overreaction. But number 7, I think is fine. Glad to see that we're in the top 10. And then Jacksonville at 8. They definitely did struggle a little bit, but they did pull out the W. They got a tough matchup this week against the Chiefs, so we'll see how that goes. But I feel like 8 is fine for Jacksonville.
Yeah, yeah, you can make the argument. I think they're a little bit too high. Maybe I think they're definitely still top 10, but maybe like 9 or 10. But that's about it. Number 6, you have the Ravens. They gained 2 spots, and Dolphins only gained 1 at number 5. I think both are pretty good where they're at. The Ravens actually surprised me this week. Zay Flowers 9 receptions for 78 yards, looked pretty good. And then the Dolphins. I mean, dude, Tua looked incredible. Almost 500 yards passing. Dude's.
Him and Tyreek, man, crazy.
I know. I swear, man. But I think both these teams are pretty good where they're at.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think that both of them were great. You mentioned Zay Flowers. I feel like he could be a wide receiver 1 for Baltimore moving forward. And there was someone actually who was in one of my fantasy leagues who has Tua and Tyreek Hill drafted on the same team. So that was just a deadly combination.
Oh, dude, that's yeah.
Yeah, that was a smart move to do that combination, and he just ran away with his matchup this week. Tyreek and Tua, they are one of the most underrated duos in the league.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd also think both of them are pretty okay. If anything, I may put Baltimore up a little more, but not anything ridiculous, and not anything more than like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think so. 4, you got Dallas. They moved up 3 spots. I think they should be at the 3 spot where Kansas City is. They fell 2. Kansas City didn't look good. Obviously, they were without their best offensive weapon and their best defensive player by far. And I think obviously Dallas holding any team in the NFL to 0 points. That's an incredible feat on its own, and it's something that's super, super rare to see. I think Dallas should be at the number 3 spot and swap Kansas City down. I think Kansas City actually did end up playing better than the Lions, but the Lions just stole the win from them.
Yeah, I also think Dallas should be in the 3 spot. But like you said, Kansas City didn't look the greatest without their players, but their fucking offensive line. Either they're gonna get caught doing what they were doing, or someone's gonna watch Aiden Hutchinson's film and just realize what he was doing to that offensive line. He might not have had any sacks that game, but damn near every play he was just getting through them. It was
Right.
absurd.
No, he was getting so many pressures on Mahomes, and obviously Mahomes is the toughest quarterback to sack probably in the history of the game,
Oh,
just
yeah,
because he's so
he definitely
elusive.
punished the Lions
And
when they
he,
made the mistakes with his legs. Yeah,
and
for
and
sure.
and he was getting held every single fucking play, and still was getting pressure on Mahomes every single passing play. It was incredible.
Right, like, we're not going to dwell on that, but, like, yeah. You can never count Patrick Mahomes out, which is why I'm perfectly fine with leaving him in the top 5 at 0-1, losing to the Detroit Lions.
Absolutely, Mike. What are your takes on this, real quick?
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. Dallas, I mean, they played so well in Week 1. I mean, couldn't have played any better. I mean, a 40-0 blowout. The Chiefs, though, even though they lost, definitely the best team that lost in the opening weekend. But yeah, I think that I do think that the top 2, which will be the 49ers and the Eagles, whichever order it is, are clearly the top 2 teams right now. So I'm fine with them being at 3 and 4.
No, you're totally wrong. The top 2 teams are Tennessee and Washington. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's Philly number 2. They stay at number 2, and the 49ers went from 4 to number 1. I agree with both. I thought Philly was probably the best team in the league coming into this offseason. And then just San Francisco just looked really, really good this week, especially defensively. So yeah, I agree with both of these. I think they're perfect right where they're at, both of them.
Yeah, I do agree. Obviously, I'm a little shaky on Philly right now because, a 25-20 win over New England. It's like, you kind of expect more than a 5-point win, but, a 5-point win is, still a 5-point win at the end of the day in the NFL. So, yeah, I'm fine with leaving them there unless they show us, something egregious by, like, losing to primetime Kirk Cousins, tonight. Which, they're only it's only 3-0 nearing the end of the first right now. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, it's they're fine where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think the 49ers showed out more than the Eagles did in the first week, even though, Patriots, were at home in that game. Philly was dominating them early on, and then they kind of let them come back a little bit. The 49ers just were dominant all game long, and I think deserved that number 1 spot.
Yeah. So moving away from the NFL, NCAA football is back. Let's see. Right now, you got number 22 Miami playing Bethune up 27-0. In towards the end of the second quarter here. Can we just, before we get into previewing, can we just get into the topic that I had planned for after previewing this week? Can we schedule like real games for once in college football? Can like these top teams like actually play somebody in the non-conference games instead of fucking Michigan and Bowling Green, or Utah playing Weber State, or Notre Dame, Central Michigan, or Alabama playing South Florida? Like, come on, what are we doing here, dude?
Yeah,
What is this shit?
yeah, I agree. College football is kind of mid. Like, I mean, I understand Colorado State. That's like an in-state rivalry thing, but like you said,
They're favored by 24. It's not a fucking rivalry unless they're favored in single digits. You can't call that a fucking rivalry, dude.
That's why I said in-state rivalry. It's like Michigan State.
Yeah, but at least when Michigan State plays, it's like Michigan's favored by like 9.5. This is
not the greatest
no.
Okay, well, here's an even better one then. Washington State, number 23, playing Northern Colorado.
Yeah,
Fucking Northern Colorado. I didn't
right.
know that was a school until just now.
I didn't know Colorado State existed until last year when Michigan fucking played them. I thought Colorado was the only school there because no one fucking lives there. You got Oregon and Hawaii playing each other. Oregon favored by 38. Like,
Jesus Christ.
what?
Don't even play the game at that point. Just say Oregon won by 38 at that point.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Texas taking on Wyoming, favored by 30. I mean, the only like decent game this week is Tennessee taking on Florida, and they're favored only by 6. Um, I think that might be the only game actually worth watching this weekend because, like, I'm obviously gonna watch the Michigan game because I'm a Michigan fan. But
Yeah, I'm not watching Michigan State get their asses handed.
oh no, I'm watching that one for the memes, dude. That but I mean, Florida's a bad team. I think Tennessee wins that one. But come on, man, can these schools just schedule like good conference or non-conference games? Like I want to see Michigan taking on Bama in the regular season, not just in the playoffs. Or just
Right, like,
give me some.
then you could make the excuse to have, an 8-team or 12-team expanded playoff because, all of these teams now have more than one loss.
Right, and that's the other thing too is like, oh man, it's just and like as a guy who likes to bet, you can't bet on any of these games in the first few weeks of the season. You're there's no value to them. What you're gonna take Michigan at minus 110 every single week? No, you're gonna take Alabama minus 150 every single week? No, I need something with value, and there's nothing of value in these first 3 weeks of football. It's just like pillow fights. It's not even football. It's just a pillow fight.
Yeah, the recruiting class differences, and even just the Power 5 schools, and part of the reason why the Pac-12 is dying. Because, the SEC and the Big Ten have, it's just like seniority and recruiting, it seems like. And, we all know the SEC has like a stranglehold on, the South. So, yeah, it's kind of fucked for college, football. And then, it's probably eventually going to expand to other sports. So,
Yeah, college football's dead, anyways. To me, the sport is already dead. I touched on this in the first episode with Mike, and I know Mike, you kind of agreed with me. Everything about college football that we loved is like gone now. Like there's regionality out the fucking window. Being able to watch games on TV, that's gonna go bye soon. And you have to fucking stream everything, and then they're killing off rivalries in certain conferences now because of TV dollars, and it's just these mega conferences I'm not a fan of because it takes away the entire thing that made college football as great as it was the regionality of it. The Big Ten, which is still a retarded name for it because it's more than 10 fucking teams, and then like adding like when Texas A&M joined the SEC, what they should not be in the SEC. They are not South or East. Well, they're South, but they're not Southeast.
South, my
Just shut the fuck up. Shut up.
South, man.
Yeah, they're South, but they're not East. They're Southwest. Okay, like it just makes no sense. The Big 12 too also makes no. Fucking okay, but yeah, okay. So let's just roll through. We'll just roll through the top 25 teams. Obviously, like I said, Miami's playing Bethune right now. And Bethune just like fumbled on in their own. Oh, look at that! Miami just scored a touchdown, 34-0 now. So, anyways, you got Bowling Green and Michigan. Michigan favored by 40.5. I don't think Michigan covers. They haven't covered yet this season. But obviously Michigan's just gonna win this game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Michigan wins. I don't know if they cover by 40 though. It's a hefty one.
Yeah, Michigan's easily gonna win that. Yeah, again, I'm not sure if they're gonna cover, if they're gonna really go all out, but easy win for them.
Yeah. Let's see. Florida State playing Boston College. I believe that is Boston College in the ACC.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I thought. Either way, Florida State favored by 27. It's like Michigan next week's playing Rutgers, and they're favored by like a ridiculous amount too. Take a Florida State, and I think they will cover. I think Florida State's, obviously they're number 3, but I think they're like they might be the best team in the country right now. Keon Coleman, I know both you Sparty fans are
Yes, sir.
are
I'm
Yeah,
sick on that.
true.
I am
you're
sick on
sick. I
that, let me
know.
tell you. But yeah, good for him. But yeah, I also take Florida State on this one. I think Florida State could get the over themselves because that right now, looking at ESPN, is 48. So I think Florida State could hit the over themselves if they really wanted to.
Yeah, I completely agree. Penn State taking that Illinois, Big Ten matchup, favored by 14 and a half. Penn State has one of the best defenses in college football. I think they cover on this one as well. Illinois is a big time regression candidate this year, and I think we're already seeing it with their 1-1 record to start the year.
Yeah, I can see Penn State winning by 20 plus.
Yeah, I think Penn State's got that for sure.
SEC matchup: LSU and Mississippi State. LSU only favored by 9.5. LSU obviously 1-1. Mississippi State undefeated. But I'm taking LSU in this one. There's no way they lose to Mississippi State. That's a really bad team there in Mississippi State. For SEC standards, college football they're a pretty good team, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I'm taking LSU. Looking at Mississippi State, they beat Southeast Louisiana. Didn't know that was a school until just now. 48-7 week 1. Week 2, they beat Arizona. We all know Arizona's, more of a party school than anything. But, yeah, so they beat them 31-24. And beating Arizona by 7, that's, it's not the greatest achievement. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think LSU is going to handle business. No problem there. Winning by over 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Kansas State playing Missouri, only favored by 4 in this one. I don't. I look. I know Missouri's 2-0, but it's Missouri. They're come on now. Kansas State defending Big 12 champs. They're gonna win this game. I think they win it by way more than 4. But
Yeah.
we'll just have to see. I think
Mhm.
I think they're gonna regress this year, Kansas State. But yeah, they don't lose to Missouri. No way.
Yeah, I don't think Kansas State wins the Big 12. I think Oklahoma might take that again this year.
Oh fuck
But yeah,
no! Fuck no!
but looking at Missouri, who they've beaten at 2-0 is South Dakota and Middle Tennessee State. So, and they only beat Middle Tennessee State by 4.
Yeah, exactly my point.
Yeah, so kind of a false hope at that 2-0 record. So, yeah, taking Kansas State, and I'm taking the points and the money, and I'm running on that.
Yeah, man, Kansas State's got that for sure. I mean, shot they're only favored by 4 points.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I could see like 14.
Yeah, I could too. You got Utah and Weber State. I don't even see what Utah's favored for by
You don't
on
need
ESPN.
to. It's not
We,
gonna
we
be close.
right. It doesn't matter. Weber State's coming in 2-0 as well, but they're about to be 2-1. Like I said, I think Utah is probably the favorite, in my opinion, at least, to win the Pac-12.
I'd be shocked if they weren't.
Yeah, I know. Notre Dame, they played 3 games in 2 weeks of college football, by the way. Still doesn't make sense. Make it make sense if we're going to do this.
And
Please.
at 3-0 though.
Yeah, the 3-0, they're taking on Central Michigan, favored by 34.5. I think they win. I don't think they cover, but I think they definitely win this game.
Yeah, it's a stretch to
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
They win.
Yeah. Georgia, South Carolina. Georgia favored by 27.5. Georgia couldn't cover against Ball State, so I don't think Georgia's going to cover against a better school in South Carolina. South Carolina, obviously 1-1. They're not a bad team by any means, but when you're favored by, or when your opponent's favored by 27.5, yeah, you're pretty bad.
Yeah, but I mean, you're the number 1 team favored 27.5. So that's why I understand if you kind of say, oh, they might be better than you think, but it's still South Carolina. Let's be realistic here, people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dogs all day.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm taking the dogs
Yeah.
on this one. I don't think they cover though, but I think I'm definitely taking the dogs. Bama taking on South Florida, favored by 33. I think we can all agree Bama and they will cover on this one. South Florida is just stinky poo poo garbage.
Yeah, this might be another case where the favored team could hit the over themselves. I mean, the over's set at 61, but like you said, South Florida is South Florida, and
But
even just the state.
we need that total to be
Garbage, so.
we need that total to be 69 and a half for the memes.
Nice.
I want that total to be 69. That'd be great. Oregon State taking on San Diego State. Um, Oregon State favored by 24 and a half. I taking Oregon State, and I think they cover on this one. San Diego State is bad.
Yeah, I can see it. They just lost to UCLA 35-10. They barely beat Ohio. 20-13. It's another case like Notre Dame where they've played 3 games this season already, and they're sitting at 2-1. But yeah, I think Oregon State takes this one. I don't know if they cover, but I wouldn't be shocked if they do.
Yeah, man. Seems like all the games so far, like we mentioned, they're all blowouts. So, I
There's
think Oregon
quite a bit
State.
this season already.
Yeah, Oregon State's gonna handle that no problem.
Yeah. In-state game, Tulsa taking on Oklahoma. Oklahoma favored by 28 and a half. It's in-state rival. Oh wait, no one cares about Tulsa. Yeah, Oklahoma favored by 28 and a half on this one. I'm taking Oklahoma, and they will cover. Tulsa is just bad.
Yeah, like I said, I think Oklahoma might have potential to end up taking the Big 12, depending on how, if they dissect themselves alive like they do every year. But if they don't fall victim to that, obviously.
Nope. Texas is winning the Big 12. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you.
Yeah, that, like I said, as long as they don't fall victim, yeah. But yeah, I do agree Texas will win the Big 12.
Say it with me. Say it with me, guys. Texas is back.
Yes.
Texas is
and
back.
Like I put in the notes for that last episode.
That you weren't on.
Texas is back, and they are ready for the SEC.
I don't know about that, but they're
They just
definitely
beat
back.
Bama.
Okay,
For what,
well,
the second year in a row?
No. They lost last year by 1 point.
I mean, still.
They should have won that game, but a dirty
They
hit
beat
on
Bama.
a dirty illegal hit on Quinn Ewers. It is what it is. Minnesota taking on North Carolina. UNC's favored by 7.5 here. Minnesota is not a good team at all. Eastern Michigan held them to 22 points, I think.
25. Yeah,
25.
But, yeah, Eastern's Eastern.
If you're gonna let a fucking MAC school hold you to only 25 fucking points,
Okay, to be fair, though,
you're bad. You're bad.
Eastern Michigan has been a Big Ten killer for the past few years, although they've only beat, Rutgers, Illinois, Purdue. But they
Right,
beat the year that Purdue beat Ohio State.
They've beaten teams in the Big Ten that are MAC schools that are just somehow in the Big Ten.
Comparatively, yes.
Yeah, they beat teams on their own level. Like Maryland and Rutgers, those are MAC schools. Hell, Rutgers is a fucking Division II school in my opinion.
I was gonna say Rutgers is an Ivy League school in my opinion.
Bro.
For football, yeah, they don't deserve to have that squad, man.
Absolutely not. But yeah, I'm taking UNC, and I think they blow the doors off Minnesota. I think 7.5 is being too nice to Minnesota.
I agree. I think it's, 17.5, maybe a little more.
Yeah, same here.
Number 21, Duke taking on Northwestern. Northwestern's in that league of Big Ten schools that are really just MAC schools in disguise. Duke favored by 18.5. I think they more than cover as well. Duke is pretty good this year, and well, Northwestern. It's Northwestern.
Yeah, Northwestern lost to Rutgers week 1, 24-7, so that says all you need to know about Northwestern. I'm taking Duke, and Duke definitely covers on this one. They could probably hit, 21.
Mm-hmm. Man, you lose to Rutgers that bad, man. You know your team sucks.
Yeah, you might as well throw in the towel at the beginning of the season, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Iowa taking on Western Michigan. Iowa's favored by 28.5. Here's the problem. Um, Iowa's offensive
Iowa.
coordinator has a thing this year. He's gonna get fired if he doesn't average 25 points a game. Um, and they've yet to hit 25 points as a Power Five school. Um, yeah, so he's gonna lose that. I think Western Michigan covers on this one. I think Iowa wins because their defense is elite. I just don't think that they're gonna win by 28.5. I think they'll win by like a touchdown because they're just their offense can't do anything, and they have upgraded their quarterback insanely well with Cade McNamara, and they still can't score more than 25 points.
Yeah, Iowa is a cursed football team, that's for sure. I'd also agree. Western Michigan covers. Iowa wins, but I think the only way they cover this is if their defense forces, pick sixes and fumble sixes all day.
Right.
Your offense can
That's what
score
I'm saying.
30 points as
You
is.
you how are you gonna favor a team by 28.5 points that with a
Just
team
lose
that
score
that
20
can't
and a
even
half.
they
Yeah.
can't even score 25 points, let alone 28.5. Like, come on now, what are we doing here?
It would be a
Um,
miracle they had 20 hung up on the board by the end of the game.
yeah, Western Michigan's defense is actually pretty good. For max standards, they're pretty good. Um, Ohio State taking on Western Kentucky, favored by 29.5. Ohio State doesn't look good this year at all. Kyle McCord is yikes. I think Ohio State covers on this one. They have a lot to improve though. So yeah.
Yeah, Ohio State covers, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to carry him.
Mm-hmm.
Travion Henderson, though, not bad. Not bad at all.
No.
Yeah.
You got Michigan State and Washington. When this game opened up, well, last week when everything before everything came out this week, Washington was only favored by 9.5. Since the Mel Tucker situation, Washington's now 16.5 favorites. I think I don't think that's going to happen. I think Michigan State will keep it a little bit closer than that. But yeah, losing your head coach, not optimal at all.
Yeah, as a Sparty fan, it hurts to say this, but 17's too generous. Or it's too nice to Michigan State. It's
Really?
gonna be a bloodbath. It's bad.
Wow.
It's bad.
I would think they would do a little bit better. Oh, by the way, Mark D'Antonio's back. I don't know if you saw that or not.
So isn't he the DB's coach?
He's like a not assistant head coach, but he's some sort of assistant.
Oh,
I
so
don't.
he's the interim head coach.
No, no,
Well,
he's not the
damn it.
no.
Don't get my hopes up like this.
No, no, but he's back in the program, but he's like he's kind of there, I guess, really to like help with the locker room. I guess would be the best way to help that. But yeah, I think Michigan State keeps a little bit closer than 16.5. To be honest, man, I don't see how they lose by that much. I know Mel Tucker is gone and will be gone forever, but it's just yeah, no, I don't think Michigan State's going to get blown out that bad.
Yeah, I think that Michigan State will cover, but I don't see them winning the game outright any chance.
Yeah,
That's for certain.
yeah.
Washington's going 3-0 on this one.
Right. Let's see. Just blowing through these few games here. Washington State taking North Colorado. Don't see anything in terms of how much Washington State's favored by. I assume 10 million points or something like that because I didn't know North
Phenomenal
Colorado.
idea.
North Colorado's a school. Like, come on now. And then UCLA taking on NC Central, wherever the fuck that is.
North Carolina,
Yeah,
the central part, I'm
yeah.
assuming.
Also, there's nothing on the favorites. I think UCLA and Washington State obviously win these games.
Oh, yeah.
I assume you guys agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I already covered Florida, Tennessee, favored by 6. I think
Covered
Tennessee.
Michigan.
I think Tennessee wins that one handedly.
Yeah, I think they
Um,
win more than 6. Yeah.
yeah. Ole Miss taking on Georgia Tech, favored by 18. I think Ole Miss covers on this one. They're pretty good team down there. They just have this problem with they have to run the ball because that's all their offense can do. While their coach just absolutely hates running the ball, he'd rather throw the ball every single play than ever run the ball. But considering that's all Ole Miss can do is run the ball, yeah. But yeah, no, I'm taking Ole Miss on this one. 18 easily cover. Um, Texas, Wyoming, favored by 30 is Texas. That's yeah. I think they cover because Texas is back.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. 30. Yeah, they can do it on Wyoming. Wyoming's 2-0. Yeah, I mean that's normally that's about as many wins as they get.
Right.
You know,
They
they
filled
beat
out their
Texas
win
Tech
column.
by 2. So Texas Tech by 2 is. I'd give them credit for that one.
Yeah, I'll give them credit for that one. They did play pretty well against.
Portland State in week 2.
Yeah.
Portland State. What the fuck?
I-
Isn't that the team that Oregon put 80?
Yes.
Oregon put 50 more on you.
Yeah. Then Oregon taking on Hawaii, favored by 38. I don't think they cover. I think Hawaii has a little bit more respect than that. I think Oregon wins by like 33, 34. I don't know if they get to 38 though on them. But yeah, Hawaii's actually a lot better team than they were last year. But I'm taking Oregon. Not the points on this one, but I'm definitely taking Oregon still.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think Oregon wins. I don't take the points on that one though.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. And then lastly, Colorado taking on Colorado State. Still not a fan of Coach Prime. I hope this program crashes and burns really hard, really fast. Once they play real teams, they definitely will anyways. But yeah, I think Colorado wins, and they definitely cover because who the fuck is Colorado State? They're an FCS school. They're not even they're not relevant. Getting away from football here. We're get MLB playoffs coming up towards the end of the month here. Braves clinched the first spot 6 years in a row now that they've won their division. Looking incredible. What do you guys take away from all of this?
Yeah, you can just go ahead and add NL MVP to Ronald Acuna Jr.'s rap sheet, and maybe MLB MVP. Because, first 30-60 season, maybe 40-60 season. What he's doing right now is impeccable. Obviously, like you said, Braves took the first, spot. So they're obviously the first team to clinch, playing impeccably well, best record in the league. Taking that from the Rays, who had it earlier. So, yeah, I don't think there is a better team right now. And
Yeah,
I think they win the World Series.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think the Braves have the best team of anyone. Just both hitting and pitching. You got Acuna, who's going to win the MVP, 30 and 60. Matt Olson's got 50 and 130 RBIs right now. Like, two of the best hitters in all of baseball. They have a lot of other great hitters as well. Austin Riley, Sean Murphy. Like, their team is just so well-rounded. Spencer Strider, Cy Young candidate, if not Cy Young winner. Like, their team is just so well-balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. And Atlanta's pitching has been super consistent this year. I don't think I've ever seen a team pitch this consistently in a very, very, very long time. Really,
Spencer Strider, what a shock.
dude, right? I mean,
Out of nowhere. Is he still leading the league in strikeouts?
I believe so. Let me look at that real quick.
Because I know he was for a while.
Um,
But what he's doing down there is absolutely phenomenal.
yeah, he is well ahead of Gaussman. He has 259 strikeouts, and then Gaussman and Snell both have 217. I mean,
Yeah, so you're
he's
a full
yeah
42 higher than the
right.
second place people. You're cooking down there. Like that's shades of like old Nolan Ryan, pumping 300 Ks out in a season like it's nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's still time to go in the regular season for him. So I mean,
300's a
he's got
stretch, but
he's
you
got
could
yeah no,
probably
he's
hit 370, 380.
right. He's got 3 or 4 starts left, I believe. Um, Based on how many games are left, I would imagine he's got 3 or 4 more, maybe 5. But dude, he's looking really good. Let's take a second to talk about Baltimore now. I mean, they're still in a tight divisional race with Tampa, but they kind of came out of nowhere this year, based on where they were last year, and obviously Tampa with their incredible start. Uh, yeah, I mean, Baltimore looks really good. A very young team too, which is obviously something that you want. You want to see a team competing at this level, but also very young, so you can build on that momentum year in year out.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree on the part that they kind of came out of nowhere. They I think they underperformed last year. That's all. They're doing what the Yankees did this year. Is they had the talent and couldn't put it together. And this year is the year they put it together. Because obviously, like you said, they caught the Rays, and the Rays were absolutely like red hot the beginning of the season, and to catch them, you're doing something real special with as young of a team as they have. As a former outfielder myself, I love players like Cedric Mullins, especially when it's like we're just watching him. It's like, god damn, like he might as well be Curtis Granderson out there, like crazy ridiculous, like Riley Green, Superman out there in that outfield.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
young too, like young talent. Like I truly believe the Tigers are in the position that the Orioles are in right now. They have the talent. They just got to put it together.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Um, Houston's leading the AL West only by 1 over the Rangers. Rangers are, I think the Rangers were kind of a shock team to me this year. They've been good in years prior, but to be up there with Houston, that's another step.
Yeah, to be like to hold the division like they did for as long as they did, I did not expect it. Corey Seager,
Corey
what a
Seager's going
performance,
crazy.
man! What a performance! Adolis Garcia, crazy. They had what, like 5 starters on the AL All Star team.
Hmm.
Like that team was, rivaling the Rays at the start of the year. And we all, like I said, we all know how they were doing. Ridiculous. But I like here I am now sitting here. I would not be shocked to see the Mariners, the Blue Jays, and the Rays make it in the playoffs over the Rangers if the Rangers continue to go into these slumps like they have.
Absolutely, they
Do
have
they
been.
deserve to miss the playoffs though?
No,
No, not at all.
but if they keep, like you said, having these stretches where they go into slumps, they could very well miss out.
Yeah.
Milwaukee and Chicago, their playoff race was quite tight for a while, but now Milwaukee's up 4.5 games on them. Um, I still think Milwaukee is going to win this division. There's just I know obviously Chicago is really good, especially after their pretty slow start.
Yeah,
But
Cody Bellinger's doing work out there.
yeah, exactly. But I like
Hmm.
they caught Milwaukee, and now Milwaukee's slowly starting to pull back ahead.
Yeah, that was a race I was really paying attention to because, I kind of have a soft spot for the Cubs, but, ever since, when they broke that 110-year curse, like, they don't have Anthony Rizzo or my boy Chris Bryant anymore, but, you know,
Don't forget they also don't have Baez anymore. But
yeah, don't remind me. Do not remind me. Like we're gonna have a whole episode on just how bad the Javi Baez contract is, and you're just gonna hear me rant for like an hour and a half.
I don't know if we're gonna do a whole episode on that. It's just, can we launch him into outer space or something though? That'd be preferable.
Please.
Yeah, just launching.
Something.
Please. LA, I think they're gonna lock up the West here. They're 13 and a half games ahead of Arizona and San Francisco. It's just a matter of time, really, for them. I don't know. Uh, I LA, they're good. Obviously, they're LA. They're always good in the regular season. But I think they're gonna do what they did last year and choke.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I like the Dodgers. They're, Mookie Betts
Mookie
again,
and
what a
Freeman.
great player. Like put him in the MVP race for against Ronald Acuna Jr. But again, the former Brave, Freddie Freeman, he's doing his thing over there too. It's not often I sit there and I take a liking to an infield player, but yeah, Freddie Freeman, one of those boys. I do think the Dodgers will go to at least the NLCS.
I don't see it happening. I think they're gonna choke again. They're just they always seem to choke ever since they won their World Series, and I'm happy with that. I hate that organization so much. Their fans are some of the most obnoxious in sports. I mean, they ain't Philadelphia Eagle fans, but
Oh
they're
no,
some
not
of
by
them.
any means.
They're some of the most obnoxious fans in
Or
sports.
Cowboys fans, those are pretty bad
Oh,
too.
those fans need to
Hmm.
launch them to the moon. Let's just quickly talk about obviously the best division in this entire league, the AL Central. I couldn't say that with a straight face. God, this
Yeah,
division
I
is so
physically
bad.
cringed on that one.
Yeah.
Look, yeah. I think Minnesota's obviously going to lock this up. But considering
Yeah.
how bad this division is, the Tigers only being 9 games out, the White Sox and KC eliminated from the playoffs. Um, they're one of the
What?
four.
You mean the Royals won't make the playoffs
They're
with 101 losses? Damn.
damn it. No, they
If there was ever a case to eliminate like division winners from making the playoffs, it would be this argument for the
yeah.
AL Central. The AL East, all the teams are probably better. Even the Yankees are probably better than the Twins.
Yeah.
And
So the Yankees are 73 and 73 right now. They are.
I would
They
take
have
a
a.
500
They have.
Yankees team
They
over
have.
those
If
520
they were.
Twins.
If they were in the Central Division, they'd be number two. They'd be 3 games behind Minnesota, and I would probably take the Yankees to win the division because, god damn, this division is bad, dude. Like, I just what I find funny about it though is the Tigers still have a pretty good shot of winning this division despite being 9 games back, because the Tigers are the best team in the division when it comes to divisional games.
They've clinched a winning record against every divisional opponent this year, yeah.
Yeah, it's I and I think they all play each other at least one more time around, one more series. And
I don't think Cleveland.
yeah,
Detroit play.
I don't think they play,
Let
but
me see. Oh no, they do. October or September 29th, 30th, and October 1st.
okay.
It might be Minnesota then that they.
Yeah, it might not be, and that would really suck because I think we have a really good record. I think they might be our best team
Chicago
that
was the worst. They were the
right,
closest.
right.
The rest, I don't think were close.
Yeah, I think Minnesota obviously first round exit. They're just so bad. They're getting to lose to a wild card team in the first round. That's for
Oh yeah.
sure. There's
Mhm.
there's no way.
Minnesota is a wild card team at best.
Yeah, and they're a division winner, and that's
Which
the
is,
sad
like,
part.
I would, like you said, I would 100% argue that the Rangers or Blue Jays, if they miss the playoffs, would be more deserving than the Twins. Unless the Twins end the season, with sub 80 losses or something like that, or sub 75. I don't think they are that deserving of that playoff spot. Yeah, they won the division, but like everyone else is sub 500 and probably won't scrape 500.
Right, and that's the thing. They're just this division is so bad. Take division winners out. Let's just have the best teams from each league be in the bracket instead of. I get why they have division winners, but come on, man, this division's a joke. Um, but yeah, World Series. I have I have Baltimore taking on Atlanta and Atlanta winning it all in the World Series. I just Atlanta is just that team. Obviously, Acuna Jr. is just that guy. Um, and yeah, I think Baltimore will surprise everyone and go to the World Series. I know unpopular opinion on that one, but yeah.
I would love to see Baltimore go all the way, but I do think it will either end up being Houston or, God fucking forbid, the Blue Jays. But I don't ever want to see them go anywhere. But again, Blue Jays have to make the playoffs first. They're out of the wild card spot right now. Like I said, I do think the Jays can end up stealing the spot from the Rangers or the Mariners, but I have a slight preference to the Mariners. But the Mariners could surprise people, but again, I do think the Orioles or the Rays right now, the premier team to beat. But the
The
Astros are the Astros in the
so
playoffs.
the question is who do you have in the World Series and who do you have winning that series?
I have Atlanta, obviously, and from the NL. You know, no one in the NL can beat them. It's, you know, it's proven right now. They're gonna win 100 games before they lose more than 50, probably. So sitting at a record of 150 is damned good. That's damn near a video game number. But yeah, so Atlanta on the NL. I don't know. Probably Houston on some like sneaky shit from the AL. Either Houston or Baltimore.
Mike, what say you?
Yeah, I think that Baltimore has a good chance, but I still think that their team is still super young and not a lot of playoff experience. Tampa Bay has all the Wander Franco situation going on. I'm not sure if that's going to hold anything over them in the playoffs. Houston always finds a way to do really well in the playoffs. I don't want to see Houston, but I feel like they could. I feel like Texas has a good shot as well. I think that they're very underrated and could make a push for the World Series. And then the NL, I think it is going to be Atlanta. They're by far the best team in the entire league. I think, though, I am going to go, if I'm just making a prediction, Houston and Atlanta, with Atlanta winning. Um, but I would love to see Baltimore and Atlanta. Would probably be like, if I could pick the two teams I'd want to see, it'd be those two.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of rounds out that topic there. Um, and we're gonna go into this last topic here. I kind of want to touch on some things. The NHL expansion. It's been a talk lately. There's been lots of talk about obviously Arizona and what's going to happen there. We won't know until January anything about if they're going to actually have a new stadium or not. And if they do have a new stadium, the NHL might start looking to expand again, which they would expand to 36, I think, to keep it all even across the board in terms of teams per division. Um, which there's a few cities that I would like to get your guys' thoughts on, if you have any. But we'll have to find out. If not, though, if Arizona doesn't end up getting a building when we find that out in January, they're more than likely going to be relocated. And I think kind of out of nowhere, Salt Lake City has come to might be where they relocate to, because Ryan Smith, the Utah Jazz owner, wants to own an NHL team. He's met with the NHL multiple times in the past couple months to talk about either expansion or a relocation in case Arizona does need to relocate. At first, a lot of thoughts were Houston, right? Everyone thought Houston. Houston wants a team. Fans there want a team. The city council has said that they want a team. They have a building as well, so like everything is in place for Houston. But very lately, it's been a lot of talk about Salt Lake City because they also have a building that is NHL ready. So we could see that. What do you guys take away from this?
Yeah, I like the opportunity for expansion for the NHL because, like, obviously we've seen what the expansion for Vegas and Seattle has done. Those two franchises have a pretty decent following now, I would say. And the success of Vegas, obviously, and Seattle making the playoffs recently. I definitely think there's grounds for expansion, or obviously moving Arizona out of Arizona as long as they can pay their taxes and all of the fees and whatnot for the building should be fine for a relocation, but you got to have the money for it and all. So, you know, it'd be nice to get that poverty out of Arizona State, though. So actually use a professionals arena.
Yeah, I'm definitely for the Salt Lake City. I definitely feel like that would be a cool new team. You said Arizona relocating. It's kind of similar to baseball with the Oakland A's wanting to move to Vegas. They have been trying to plan that out for a while now, and um, there's definitely a lot of teams that are worthy that don't have a team yet. So we'll have to see who they choose, but um, I definitely feel like Salt Lake City is probably going to be the best option. Houston too, like you mentioned, has a good chance as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of Canadian fans want to see Quebec City get a team back, but the problem is if they do relocate Arizona, they're gonna keep it in a Western market because they want to keep a balance of teams, and there's no way in fuck you're gonna get Detroit or Columbus to agree to go back to the West when they fought super super hard to get into the East. Uh, Not too long ago, about a decade ago now. I mean, those teams were fighting for years to get into the East, and there's no way in fuck you're gonna expand. You're gonna move Arizona to the East and kick one of those teams back into the West. There's just no way unless you're gonna lose one of those two teams from the league entirely. I just don't see that happening, and I don't think obviously Bettman. I don't think will. I know we in Detroit all hate him because we all know he hates Detroit and keeps giving us bad lottery luck. Although this year we did you know we didn't lose any spots, but we didn't gain any spots. Um, but yeah, no, I think I don't see it happening. But so let's say Arizona gets a building, right?
Mhm.
So you're gonna have and the NHL does want to expand. These are the markets I think will get teams would be Houston. They would go to the Central. Um, they obviously have a building already. Um, they're the number 7 U.S. TV market, so I think they definitely could get away with having um, an NHL team. Obviously, I know the public wants one there because they want to have a Dallas Houston hockey rivalry, which I think would be awesome.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and then Salt Lake City, they'd be into the Pacific. We know Ryan Smith wants a team. He obviously he's the Utah Jazz owner. He wants a team very very bad. He's met with the NHL multiple times in the past couple months. So they'd be in the Pacific. They're number 29 in the U.S. TV markets, but it's not like they need the top markets that are still available. I mean they have most of them anyways. So um, and then you'd have Atlanta. They're number 6 on the U.S. TV markets, and I
Yeah.
know
Bring
at
back the Thrashers.
Atlanta. I understand. I understand where the hesitancy comes on Atlanta getting another team. Um, both times that Atlanta had a team, it was bad ownership, and that's why they moved to Canada. Obviously, the Atlanta Flames first, um, but it was. Well, actually, Atlanta more moved because the demographic. The Flames moved to Calgary because the demographics were better suited for success than in Atlanta at the time. But um, markets obviously change over time. And when the Thrashers came in '99, they were huge. I mean, they were huge, but poor ownership, and then losing their lease on the building because again, poor ownership. Um, you ended up losing them to Winnipeg because they lost the lease on the building, and Winnipeg at least had a building ready, and that's why I think a team in Atlanta could work if the ownership is there. And then lastly, obviously, Quebec City, number 7 in Canadian TV markets. They'd be in the Atlantic because now you'd have that rivalry again, the Battle of Quebec with Montreal and Quebec City. Bring the Nordiques back. I think a lot
I
of
was gonna
fans
say, yeah, bring back
would
another
love that.
historic team in the Nordiques.
So what do you guys think if the NHL were to expand? If those 14 or those 4 cities got a team?
I like all of them, honestly. You know, the only one I would be iffy on is, Salt Lake City. But again, you have the Utah Jazz owner interested in it. So you already have someone who is owning a franchise, a sports franchise, more specifically, an arguably successful one at that. But, so he has that experience. He has the interest in it. So obviously, it has to. I mean, the ball's in the NHL's court at this point. And we all know how trash Bettman is. It's a matter of how willing is he, I guess. Also, they have to pass a vote. I don't know the vote, like what percentage or how many of the like owners and whatnot need to approve.
They need a 2/3 majority of the owners need to approve any expansion team, and relocation. They have to have a 2/3 majority for just the relocation of a team. So if Arizona needs to relocate and they want to go to Salt Lake City, the owners could shoot that down with a 2/3 majority vote against.
That that is a very fair point. But I don't know if the owners will let that happen. But I don't know. They might.
Nah, I don't think so. I think they would vote against expansion though, personally. But the NHL model predicts that more teams means more money. It's not like other sports where more teams means less money. Their model is more teams, more money, just based on projections and stuff. So yeah, I think most sketchy one to me would be Atlanta, just because of the history. But
Yeah, I would agree there.
but at the same time, if you actually get a competent owner, unlike what we had with the Thrashers, we could actually see an Atlanta team actually work. Mike, what do you think? What's like? I guess your thoughts on any of these cities: Houston, Salt Lake City, Atlanta, Quebec City.
Yeah, I think that they're all good. Another one that I was kind of thinking about that used to have a team was the Hartford Whalers. Any rumors about them possibly getting a team as well?
Uh, Hartford. I think a team could work in Hartford. The problem is they don't have a building right now. And I don't think there's much interest in Hartford. But there is a Canadian city that seems forgotten about because they used to have an NHL team, and that's Hamilton. They had the Hamilton Tigers for a while back in like the 30s, or actually before the NHL was the NHL, but or the NHL that we know today. But I think a team there could work. The TV market is pretty big in Hamilton, and they have a building, but I don't see them outright beating Quebec City if there is an expansion at all to get a team. I think Quebec City gets that team first. I think that's the first Canadian city to get a team next, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm all for adding the historic teams as long as it's not like, I don't know, a historic Californian team like the Seals. We don't need more California teams.
Oh, the Seals still exist. They're San Jose. There's just
I know, but
and they're just as bad.
hey now,
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
man, we had Eric Carlson.
Yeah, you guys mortgage your future for Carlson just for him to go minus 100 and not score anything, and then once the team is and then once the team is bad, he goes completely the opposite way and actually starts playing well, but still having a giant negative in the plus minus column. But yeah, that's kind of wrap it up. I know it's a longer episode. over an hour and a half into this one. But yeah,
Oh, my bad.
no, you're all right. Yeah, Ian, he's gonna be appearing every once in a while. We might have him in once a week. Who knows? We'll just kind of see from there. But yeah, that's kind of gonna wrap it up for today. Rate, review, subscribe, unsubscribe, then resubscribe because apparently that's like a bugged out thing that shows us that we have more downloads and whatever, and it helps us out. So do that if you can. Um, and that's it from the Mike and Andrew show. Yeah, I'm Andrew Surwick here with Mike
Mike
Meredith,
Meredith.
And I mean, hi.
and Mike and I will be back on Tuesday. We'll break down this weekend's slate of football, and yeah, thank you guys a lot for listening, and we will see you guys on Tuesday.